If you're feeling stressed, anxious, overwhelmed, or down, know that it's because you're thinking instead of living. What I mean is that instead of immersing yourself into life's actions, you are in your mind thinking about things. You may be with your kids, but you're thinking about work. You may be at work, but you're thinking about how you're going to make money and how this is ever going to be a success, etc., etc. Here are the 4 big traps of life that cause tremendous amount of thinking for us. And that means tremendous amount of psychological suffering. Avoiding these traps will help you live a much more lighter, exuberant, and vibrant life. If you're intrigued by the mechanics of this, Joseph Nguyen explains this beautifully well in his best-selling book, Don't Believe Everything You Think. Let's dive in. Trap number 1. Life is not about end goals. Doing things only to get things in return. Does that sound familiar? When you're stressed or anxious every day, it's because you're out of alignment. You're taking actions you don't truly want to take. You're fighting who you really are. You're being inauthentic. Why? Sometimes we choose goals we don't desire. We desire them because others do. Or we follow what we're trained to do or what we're supposed to do rather than what our intuition calls us to do. We ignore the pulls of our curiosity and do what we think we must do. So when life is only about the end goals, you are not happy until you get the outcome. That is enormous pressure, which creates enormous thinking to control the outcome. Because if you're not making progress, what are you really doing? And all of this thinking is from this big trap. Trap number 2, no pain, no gain. Hustle, grind, sacrifice. We've all absorbed into this hustle culture. That to be successful, you need to work night and day, that this is the price of success, right? But what if this belief is an actual block? Because if suffering is a prerequisite of getting what you want, then every moment of ease, of joy, of calm means you're falling behind. You don't deserve it yet. And that's a lot of guilt to carry every day. But what if this ease isn't laziness, but what if it's something a lot more intelligent? What I mean to say is that there is a more intelligent and effortless way to achieve. In Taoism, it's known as Wu Wei, or effortless action. It is also known as the state of flow, when intent and action are so tightly combined that there is no friction in between. And this state is accessible when your mind is relaxed, when it's open and receptive. More on this in another video. But to summarize, constant hustling and grind blocks the state of ease, which actually gives you your peak performance. Trap number 3, thinking is a solution to your problems. This one is my favorite. A problem appears, we think harder to solve it. That's what we've been trained to do since growing up. That's what our minds are for, right? But pulling solutions from our limited minds is a very ineffective way to solve a problem because our mind just recycles old past experiences in scary ways. So if you want something new, different, or creative, your limited mind is not going to get you that. So what can we use instead? There's something else available to us that is far more intelligent than our limited minds. And it's tapping into this universal mind intelligence. And that is your intuition or your inner guidance. And this isn't just spiritual. Modern quantum physics also points to the fact that the universe is a hologram, that each part of the universe is connected to the entire universe in ways that our limited minds can't comprehend. In humans, it is our intuition that connects us to this collective universe mind. And that's where your most creative, most incredible ideas can come in the present moment if you are open and receptive to receive it. More on this in another note. But to summarize this, thinking is never the best solution to your problems. In fact, the best ideas come from a non-thinking state, from your intuition. Trap number 4, trusting external validation over inner guidance. This one is the sneakiest, and by far the one that's given me the most overthinking spirals. Saying something to keep peace with someone, even if you don't really mean it. You act a certain way to get someone else's approval. In fact, we even choose goals that are societally celebrated rather than following something that is true to us because it sounds too out there or too wild. When we act for external reasons over internal guidance, that creates a lot of friction, a lot of misalignment and inner conflict. Here's a simple check to know if you're living in alignment or misalignment. If everything you feared was taken care of, if you were successful, had all the money in the world, all the fame in the world, and you didn't care about what any person thought about you, what is it that you would actually do? Is it different than what you're currently doing? If that's the case, that's something to think about. That's your truth trying to surface. So the next time you're anxious or heavy, ask yourself, which of the 4 big traps am I in? Because here's my note to self and for whoever is watching this. Our mind is an incredible tool, but it was never meant to run 24/7, controlling our every decision and action. When we learn to use it intentionally, when we leave the reins with our intuition and not our thinking mind, that's when we can live a more exuberant, vibrant, joyful, and peaceful life. If you're here, thank you. This is my channel where I share notes to self for my own learnings in life. I hope this resonated. I'll see you in the next note.